How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be talking about the new Chucky TV show. I'm really excited that this finally came out. We've been hearing about it for a bit, and then it seemed like all of a sudden it was finally here. So, yeah, Chucky on TV. This is Season 1, Episode 1 from 2021, called Death by Misadventure. This one is directed, written by, and in fact the whole show is created by Don Mancini. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, Don Mancini wrote the original Child's Play movie and has been the series' regular writer, and he also directed every Child's Play movie from Bride of Chucky onward. So, yeah, you need to have this guy around. And it's good to have him write and direct the very first episode. You know, he's basically the guy that does the franchise. This one, we have our stars, Zackary Arthur as the new series lead Jake, and Brad Dourif returns to voice Chucky, which, yes, you definitely need Brad Dourif. Now, this movie is set in the old the regular continuity. It's not that new reboot robot Chucky continuity. Don't worry about that. But if you haven't seen all the old movies, I think you'll be fine jumping in. So far, there's not really anything like super huge that you have to know, and it seems like they're introducing the old lore at a slow and steady pace where if you haven't seen like the last few, you can probably keep up with what's going on. That being said, we haven't seen too terribly much of the old characters yet. I am curious when a few of the actors are gonna show up. You know, like, is Fiona Dourif gonna come into this show? I'm curious about that. But anyway, this show I've been waiting for, and I've been wondering, you know, will it be good? A lot of franchises are coming over to TV now. They're gonna make a Hellraiser show. They're going to make an Alien show. Those are crazy. I Know What You Did Last Summer is coming to Amazon Prime right around this time. That one doesn't look as good, but it is worth note. But also, I'm watching this show, and I get a commercial, and they're telling me they're making a Day of the Dead show. Like, I had heard nothing about it, and now it's coming out this Friday, and it actually looks really good, so I'll be watching that as well. But yeah, so many great horror movies are coming to TV, and I'm wondering, I'm like, okay, will this play out? Will it be good? And I had heard people beforehand go back and forth either way, kind of as to what they thought it might be, and while the show's not perfect, I had a lot of fun with it. There are some cheesier elements to this, and that's sort of the thing. You know, the biggest complaint is the school in this is very much movie school versus real life school, and a lot of the characters are kind of over the top, like the bullies and stuff. And you know, that's the really only complaint there, is it is a little cheesy in that regards. This episode is very much set up. You get the Chucky that no one knows is a killer yet, and in turn he has to be kind of stealth. And because this is a TV show, he can't do too much right in the first episode. You know, so it's a lot of character work. You get to meet our new lead, and you do get, towards the latter half of this episode, Chucky coming out and doing a few crazy Chucky things. Worth note, apparently USA lets you say the F-bomb, so that is good. If you're making a Chucky show, you definitely need that. So there's a few cool Chucky moments towards the end. This is the first episode. It only has one kill, and it's a pretty goofy kill, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm not gonna forget it. So that was something there. So even though this is a lot of setup, where it goes towards the end, it definitely, I can see where they're going with it, and I can see, like, okay, that's the idea for the series, and I can actually see why it's a series, because so much of TV shows, I have to look at them and I'm like, this could have been a better movie, or, you know, a few episodes you're like, that was filler, whatever. But this, you really get the setup of this new town with big, lots and lots of characters, and it's just a ton of places for Chucky to explore and things for him to do. So I think I can really see this being a good show. So this first one was set up. It's still pretty good, but a lot of setup. But what it's hinting to, they did a still to come on this season of Chucky, and what it's hinting to is pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to the rest. Big fan of slashers, big fan of Chucky, and really excited for where we go. Let's talk a little bit about the plot. I'm not going to be doing any major spoilers, but I do want to say my piece on a few plot points and make sure you have a basic understanding as to what this show's about. But I'm going to refrain from, talking about the ending and stuff, so no major spoilers. But anyway, we open up in this town called Hackensack, and it's explained that this is actually the town that Charles Lee Ray, who would become Chucky, grew up in. So this is his hometown. They say that when he was young, there was a series of murders here, but they don't explain what exactly happened. But they say that there was a horrific bloodbath that gave birth to Charles Lee Ray as a serial killer. So we're apparently gonna get a backstory of some kind. I hope they don't, over-explain it. A lot of people are saying that online, but I think it's fine. I think, getting a little bit of his origin, they could mess it up, but I think, a cool bloodbath opening for the character, I think that might be fun. But anyway, they say that, and then they say there's been a series of unexplained murders in this town, so people are dying and they don't know why. And then we meet our main character, Jake Wheeler. I wonder if he's related to the Wheelers from Stranger Things, but Jake Wheeler, and he's an outsider character. He's constantly bullied, he's told that he's a loser, and he has several big problems with his life. His father is an alcoholic, and his father is unsupportive of him. And they do this thing where you can see the initial part, why he's worried about his son. He's like, son, people think you're weird, and they don't like you, and you want to be an artist, but I don't think you can make money in it. And you see his initial concern. It's just, like all good villains, a place that starts that we can understand it, but then pushed to a very bad extreme, You get being concerned about your kid, but don't go and smash up his art project, So he gets to be quite evil, and to be honest, kind of feels like one of those cartoonish creep show enemies, So he gets to be quite bad. In addition to all this, the family is very poor, and the mother is dead, and that's implied a lot of the reason why the father went down this very dark path. So he has a lot of bad things going for him. He's bullied at school, and that's sort of where his cousin comes into play. His cousin's family is rich and successful, and his cousin is kind of a bully. So even though they're related, they're not very good friends. Cousin has a girlfriend that's kind of like one of those diva girls in school that, is just way too big into drama and really bullying, I think Mean Girl, that type of thing. So you get to see the characters kind of play out there. But this kid, he is building doll sculptures. He's an artist that likes to cut up dolls. And he finds Chucky at a yard sale. He picks Chucky up, takes him home, and his plan was to cut Chucky up and use him as an art sculpture. So I thought that was kind of funny, He gets bought by a new owner. Okay, Chucky, time to cut your face off. But before he can do that, he looks on the internet and finds that good guy dolls are getting kind of rare, and they're becoming collector's items, Something that people remember and have a nostalgia for, but they're kind of rare and a lot of kids destroyed them. Overall, it makes sense, and he looks at an eBay listing and he finds that, they can go from like 700 to 1.5K. So, yeah, depending on condition, do you still have the box? So, it's kind of crazy to see that Chucky dolls got that expensive. I thought they were expensive in real life. That's why I don't have one. But yeah, so they're a collector's item. He hangs on to it to sell it, and he's carrying it around with him. He brings it to school, and I do like that he tries to put it in his locker, but Chucky's head is just too big. He's got one of those thinner lockers, and he's trying to shove it in, and his head's just too big. I thought that was a funny moment. And we do get some, character building moments as he takes Chucky to school. Like, he's supposed to dissect a frog, but he's afraid of the sight of blood, so you get the sense that this kid is genuinely a good guy, genuinely a gentle person, but he can't look at the frog. He makes a decision. He's like, blood, I can't take it. And he looks back, and Chucky's just sliced this frog up, and the teacher's like, that's not how you're supposed to do it. And I thought that was a really funny scene. But anyway, as the plot goes on, you can see, the formula. Things are happening, they don't quite know, and it gets kind of blamed on other people. A lot of stuff Chucky does, they blame Jake for, and he starts to try to kind of figure it out. Like, he's getting the clues, he's putting the pieces together, and he starts to almost realize what's going on, but then, and I won't spoil it, Chucky kind of sticks up for this kid, so he does something, and it seems like this might be the beginning of a terrible friendship. And that's sort of, where I'm kind of curious as to where this goes. It looks like, like Carrie wasn't essentially a bad person, but Carrie was pushed over the edge, and you have this Chucky doll whispering in his ear, and I'm like, okay, if this is like a story of someone, being pushed over the edge by Chucky, I'm really curious as to where this is going, and the relationship that Jake and Chucky will have. So I am really curious. But anyway, I don't want to spoil any more of the plot. Like I said, lots of setup here, and you don't get too much from Brad Dourif. He is more towards the end. But you do get to see the setup, and I think that this is going to lead to some fun, wacky moments. So a little bit of a human-heavy, less Chucky, less slashery, but that is still towards the end. And when Chucky does kind of step into his shoes, you're like, okay, I'm really looking forward to episode 2. Like I said, as far as flaws, the school is very much movie school and not real-life school. And some of the characters are a little over the top and cartoony, but, I mean, overall, I really liked it. Chucky's the same. And this new kid, I mean, to be honest, feels like a lot of the kids that I knew back in my school days. I was friends with a lot of the outcast weirdos, but, yeah, really, good lead, and Chucky's good. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to part 2. Also, really quick, it is worth mentioning, also during the commercial break, they had a plug for Halloween Kills, and they did a little bit where Michael Myers met Chucky in this commercial. That's really cool and interesting. Now I wish that was a full movie. But anyway, I guess I'll wrap it up here. To everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll put a relevant playlist on the bottom, probably my TV playlist, so if you want to see what other TV I've talked about, you can click there and see that. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Relevant playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.